All right. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel, the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club platform, the Let's Talk to Cutler. Let's spend these 1800 seconds together on this Tuesday. It's July the 8th, and happy over half of the year. We have now completed over half of the year. I hope that you all are doing okay. I hope things are going well. I hope that you had a fantastic weekend. I know I certainly did. It was hot, but I had a great weekend nonetheless. It was my mother's birthday, so I had an opportunity to celebrate her and spend some quality time with her. And I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're doing well. And just in case you're stopping by and you're wondering, oh God, who is this guy? What is this platform about? What is this channel about? Welcome to this channel. This is the platform where it is my goal, it is my hope to offer inspiration, to offer motivation, and occasionally to challenge us to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. I know sometimes we say things and it sounds like a cliche, but the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of times in life, every single day, when you find yourself challenged by something. I'm not sure what your challenges may look like from day to day, but occasionally each day there is a challenging situation for me. And it is always my goal to show up my best self, even in the worst of situations. I hope it has now become your mantra to say and do the same thing. Let me make sure I show up my best self in the worst of situations because I like myself when I am at my best. And that doesn't mean that I am perfect. It doesn't mean I've dotted every I. It doesn't mean I've crossed every T, but it means I've put forth an intentional and deliberate effort to show up my best self no matter what the situation looks like, no matter what the situation seems to dictate. What I call for out of me is my very best in all situations. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And so that's what this platform is all about, you all. It really is. And if you haven't done so, I'd love to have you to subscribe. And after you subscribe, then just click on the notification bell. I'm not sure where it is, but do subscribe because I'd like to see more friends and more family members. I want to see more friends. There was this movie that says oh my God, it talked about friends. I want to see my friends. It's just a crazy movie quote. I'll tell you where it comes from a little later on. But anyway, I'd love to have you as a friend and a fellow member of this community, where we exchange conversations on these Tuesdays for a few moments. But again, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, why don't you go a step further and click on the notification bell? It may be down there, up there, or over there, but it lets you know whenever I've gone live or when I've uploaded new content. As I am now live in just a moment, I'll shout out the LTTC VIPs. Those are the people who show up first over in the chat. Now, I see some of you are on, but you're not over in the chat just yet. So come on over to the chat. There we go. I want to see my friends. Come on over to the chat and make sure you say hi to everybody and bid them a good afternoon or a good evening, depending upon the time zone from which you're watching. I'm going to shout out the LTTC VIPs that I see on my end. Now, you all don't fuss with me. I'm just telling you who I see over in the chat first. They may have appeared differently in your chat, but from my end, I see Linda Martin, who says, "Good evening, everyone." Let's see. So there's Linda, and then there's Annie Cutler, who says, "Let's ride." And then there's Paula D, who bids a good evening to everyone as well. So good evening to all of you all. I want to pick up with our conversation from last Tuesday, you all, because I think it's so very important that we remember how to prioritize ourselves, remember how to take care of ourselves. It's important to remember how to not only prioritize and take care of, uh, but how do we treat ourselves? Because I think when you treat yourself a certain way, you've said to other people, "This is how I allow myself to be treated." And it means that we are engaging in what is known as self love. You're really taking the time to put yourself first. You're taking the time to make sure that you are a priority to you because the truth of the matter is there's so many times, you all, when we make everything and everybody else a priority except us. There are many times, and we think it's noble and humane, and that is a wonderful thing. But when you stop and you take the time to appreciate yourself and you take the time to appreciate your own self-worth and you take the time to put your well-being first, it it means that you are focusing on taking care of who you are so that you can be okay and so that you can be well, whether it's psychologically, whether it's physically, whether it's spiritually, whether it's educationally. You're taking care of yourself so that you can promote growth in all of those areas as well. And if you don't love yourself enough to promote growth in all of those areas, you're just going to end up being stagnant. And that's never good. So what loving yourself means, what it encompasses, is just knowing who you are, knowing, yes, that I have flaws, but it means that I can accept myself. I can accept my flaws and all, and I can treat myself with kindness. I can treat myself with compassion, the same way that I would treat my best friends, my dearest family members, and those who really matter to me. I can treat myself the same way that I treat them. So that way, it means that I get a chance to prioritize what I need. I get a chance to prioritize my happiness while recognizing that I have value, that I have substance, that I have quality. And we took a look at that last week. We talked about what it means to show acceptance and kindness, what it means to strive to meet your own needs. What does it mean to show self compassion? What does it mean to prioritize your well being? What does it mean to realize that, you know what, I have to make sure that I am holistically healthy? It means that I am ever growing, and that it's not just that I've reached a destination, but I'm always involved and engaged in this journey. And we talked about, and you do remember this, and we talked about why it is so difficult sometimes for people to love themselves, because what happens a lot of times, and we talked about this, and for some reason I just feel the need to just revisit this so that we're very clear. Sometimes it is so difficult. It's difficult to love ourselves because we're so busy focusing on our flaws. We're so busy focusing on our shortcomings. And why we're doing that, we do that because uh, society has taught us to do it. Uh, but but I want us to understand that when you focus on the negative things about you, you create this distorted image. And when you create this distorted image of who you are, it makes it difficult to see the truth of who you are. Not only does it make it difficult for you to sometimes see the truth of who you are, it makes it difficult for other people to see the truth of who you are. And when you make it difficult for you to see the truth of who you are and for others to see the truth of who you are, it makes it difficult for people to embrace you. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it is difficult to love ourselves because we're so busy looking at our flaws, accentuating the negative, and engaging in that negative talk, not just critiquing, but criticizing ourselves. We're not happy with ourselves about anything. We're too this, we're too that, we're too the other. And that kind of talk about yourself can be damaging. You're always pointing out your flaws. It can just be damaging. And then we're sometimes so busy engaged in this whole notion of comparing ourselves with other people who only put forth or show the best on social media, that only show the best when they leave their homes. And that's what they do. So sometimes it's not that they're trying to be deceptive, but when they walk out and when they show themselves to the world, they only want to show the glamorous side, the good side, the sparkling side, and we start comparing ourselves with that. We do. I need you to know that you have a glamorous side as well. You have a sparkling side. You always have a victorious side. But we are very balanced people. Life is not all about sparkles. Life is not all about glamour. Life is not all about all of my successes and wins. Sometimes I have failures and fumbles and foibles and foes. I have all of those things. And so there's no need for me to compare myself with anybody who doesn't show all of those things. And so we sometimes get into this notion of just comparing ourselves, and then we get caught up in societal traps and cultural influences and those sorts of things. We focus on our past experiences. We focus on past hurts and past victories and past traumas and past failures and past successes. And sometimes we're so busy focusing on the past, and we have a lock on the past until we cannot get a grip on the future. Sometimes we find it difficult to love ourselves. Why? Because we're engaged in this whole, we're caught up in not forgiving ourselves for whatever it is we may need to forgive ourselves for. We're just caught up in not forgiving ourselves. And then sometimes it's difficult to love ourselves. Why? Because there is no one who has modeled for us what it looks like for us to love ourselves. That is so important to me. I talk about it all the time, making sure that what I do and how what does that look like. And a lot of times we don't know what something looks like because we don't have anybody who has modeled that for us. For some of us, I dare say we may not have, or we may only have a few people who have modeled what self-love really looks like. There are some people who may have never had positive role models who demonstrated what self-love and self-compassion look like. And so it is this lack of guidance or this lack of a role model that makes it harder for you to nurture and appreciate yourself. Maybe you never had anybody to show you what it looks like to love yourself, but can I tell you, it is ultra important to love yourself. That's where you build self-esteem. That's where you build confidence. That's where you say, I have to make sure that I take care of my mental well-being and I have to take care of my emotional well-being. That's when you say, I'm going to establish healthy relationships with me and with others. I'm going to show people what I am worthy of. I'm going to love myself and thereby raise the standard of who I let in my life. It becomes the foundation of healthy relationships. It defines what they're going to look like in my life. It allows me to set boundaries. It allows me to communicate what I need effectively. Because now, if it can establish healthy relationships, it allows me to communicate what I need, what I want, what I'm looking for, what I expect. It also defines what I avoid. But it's all about encouraging self-care, making sure that I'm not a stagnant human being, but I'm engaged in growth. So that is why self-love is so important. I want us, as we're going through the summer, sometimes this is when we see the glitz and the glam of what people are riding, what they're driving, what they're buying, what they're riding in, where they live, the boats on the water, and all those sorts of things, and who's taking vacation and where they're going, and who's going where, all these sorts of things. And we start comparing ourselves with what we hear. We start comparing ourselves with what others, with the glam of what other people's lives look like, the glamour of what other people's lives look like. But can I tell you, love yourself. I don't care if you see billionaires all around you and you only have a penny. Love yourself. Love yourself nonetheless. And it is so critical, you all. It is so critical. Loving yourself is important. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to know that they matter. Everybody wants to know that they're special to somebody. Everybody wants to be loved. But the challenge is this: you don't always have somebody in your life every single day to let you know that they see you, to let you know that you are loved. That's why self love is important. That is why self love is important. You are the best person to remind you that you are loved. You're the best person to remind you that you have value. You are the best person to remind you that you are important. You are the best person for the job to remind you that you are more than enough. You may not have anybody around you every day to give you that kind of affirmation. Notice I didn't say validation, because we don't allow people to have the power to validate us, to affirm us. Yes, I mean, that's just me. That's how I operate. There is no person who gets to tell me whether or not I am valid. Yes, you can affirm me. That's wonderful. But you don't get to validate me. But what about your credentials? Yeah, you can validate my credentials, but you don't get to validate me. But and the terminology is important, you all. Because see, we're looking for people to tell us whether we are valid, whether we are where we're supposed to be, whether we are good, whether we are good enough, whether we are okay. No, don't give people that power. Give them the authority or the power to affirm what you already know about yourself, and not to validate or invalidate you. And what I'm trying to do is just make sure that you say, you know what? I need to engage in this. I need to practice this thing that's called self-love. And we're gonna talk about the things that we like and love about ourselves in a moment. But there are reasons why you have to love yourself, even when it seems sometimes like a difficult chore or difficult task. Why are you spending so much time on this, Cutler? Because I have to make sure that people don't engage in self-loathing all the time, self-hatred all the time, self-criticism all the time, because those are not effective ways to motivate you. And this self-loathing and self-pity and self-hatred and all that stuff will backfire on you. Because what happens is if you keep beating yourself up, there are other people who are going to come and help beat you up. And you're going to look around and say, what are you all doing? And they're going to say, I was just joining the party. You were beating yourself up. I just figured I'd join in. So stop engaging in self-loathing and learn how to love yourself. Just make sure that you look for positive ways to motivate you to become self-motivated. Did you not know that loving yourself, that's one of the most effective ways to create change in your life? Because when you love yourself, please hear me clearly, when you love yourself, as life is progressing, you love yourself you love yourself enough to be flexible and adaptable to whatever is going on. And that means because you love yourself and you want to survive along this journey, and you want to thrive, not just exist, but you want to thrive and enjoy life. And as you are thriving and enjoying life, you love yourself enough to be flexible and adaptable. And so it gives you the wherewithal to create change when change is necessary. I love myself enough not to be locked into one way of being all the time. I love myself enough not to be stuck in this is how it has to be done. This is the only way it can be done. But when I progress 2, 3, 4, and 5 years down the road, and if things have changed, I love myself enough to try to get the best out of that situation, and getting the best out of that situation might even mean I have to change and adapt just a bit. It means that you love yourself enough, you give yourself permission to grow and change. There are some people who refuse to change, and I often wonder, do you know that you owe it to yourself to get the best out of every moment? And in order to get the best out of every moment, sometimes it means you need to change your way of seeing, your way of being, your way of showing up, your way of doing a thing, your way of processing the thing. Love yourself so that you can say, it's okay for me to change. It's okay for me to adjust. And can I tell you this? One of the reasons it is important to love yourself is because when you love yourself, it allows you to love other people, even on a deeper level. When you think about the time and the energy that you spend thinking about yourself, wondering, am I good enough? Wondering all of that stuff. How do I show up? How should I act in this situation? How should I act in that situation? How do I get someone else's attention? How do I let them know that I am here? How do I let them know that I matter? Here's the thing. When you love yourself, you're going to strive to be the best version of yourself all the time. And because you strive to be the best version of yourself all the time, that means you're going to want to give the very best version of yourself in any given situation. Even if I'm just walking along the street, or if I walk into a supermarket, if I walk into the post office, in that moment, I'm going to give the very best version of myself to the clerk with whom I'm doing business, the cashier who's ringing up my groceries. My coworkers, when I'm navigating the workspace, I'm giving the very best version of myself. It means that I get to interact with people on a different level because I'm on a level where I'm always trying to give my best self. Think about that, you all. We say every every Tuesday when this um, broadcast begins that we're trying to offer inspiration and motivation and trying to challenge each other to show up the best version of ourselves, even in the worst of situations. When you love yourself, when you love yourself, you're going to spend time with yourself and groom yourself to be the very best self that you can be. And so then what happens is when you engaging with other people, you appreciate them on a different level because you say, listen, this is the very best version of me. It ain't gonna get no better than this. I'm giving you the best of who I am. And so let's learn to love ourselves. Let's learn to show up as fully confident people. I read a quote that says about when you show up as a fully confident person, it's nothing egotistical or arrogant about that. But the quote says that true confidence is not thinking more positive. True confidence is not thinking more positively about yourself. What is it? It's knowing you're complete. So it's safe to stop thinking so much about yourself at all. Let me just show up as a confident person so that you and whoever I do business with, whoever I interact with, they get the best version of me. Because I'm not worrying if I am my best. I've practiced being my best self all the time. So, so what I need to do is show up and walk in confidence and know that I'm a complete person. I'm a whole person. So I don't have to worry if I'm broken. I don't have to worry if I'm fractured. I don't have to worry if there are cracks in my life, if there are cracks in my character, if there's stain on my integrity. I don't have to worry about that because I stand in confidence of who I am. I love myself enough to the point that I've worked on who I am and I'm okay holistically. And so now I walk in confidence and I give the best version of myself whenever I step out. It puts you in this space where you're free from worry about what other people think about you all the time. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we didn't have to think or worry about what people thought about us all the time? So I just want to encourage us all. And I know. Sometimes we say, well, Cutler, I am concerned what people think about me. Yes, I know. But one of the things we have to learn how to do is turn down the noise, to tune out the loud opinions that we think other people may have about us. And while we're tuning out those loud opinions that we think other people have about us, learn to tune into the quiet beat of your own heart. I'm not so concerned about the loud noise of what they think about me and what they say and what they have to do and the parts of themselves that I would otherwise and sometimes oftentimes try to compare myself with. No, no, no. What I need to do, I need to tune out all of that loud noise and tune into the quiet beat of my own heart and the pace of my own soul and the voice of my own spirit. That is what I need to hear. And that is the time where I can learn how to make peace with my journey, where I've been and where I'm going. See, sometimes we are locked and we become prisoners of our past, but learn how to make peace with your past and say, it was just that. My past was just that. I've made peace with it. I've made peace with the fact that I can't change it. And so I've made peace with my past and I've made peace with my present and I'm making peace with the future that's going to unfold for me. And so now you have to ask yourself, so then, what is it? What is it if learning to love myself means that I now have to look at all of these? Right, right. Never compare, compete, or complain. And so look at yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I like about myself? What is it that I love about myself? I think last week I was sharing some of the things with you all that I love about myself. And let's just take a couple minutes and let's just try to encourage each other and talk with each other and to each other. And so we can share here in this space. What is it that you like about yourself? I love the fact that I'm not afraid to be honest. I I like that about myself. You all talk back to me if you will, if you get a chance. If you don't get a chance during this live broadcast, but at least go back and catch the replay. What is it that you like about yourself? I found being disciplined is a form of self-love. Being disciplined is definitely a form of being disciplined is definitely a form of self-love. I like the fact that I am transparent. I can't talk from I can't talk from a place not with conviction. I can't talk from a place of where I haven't been. So I love the fact that I'm authentic. I love the fact that I am family focused. I like the fact that I love the fact that uh, um, I like trying new things. And I wrote a piece some time ago, and you all talked to me about what you love about yourselves. I'm just giving us this space, maybe 60 more seconds to talk about what we love about ourselves. I like that I am multifaceted, that I am body, soul, and spirit. I love the fact that I'm spiritual. I do. I love the fact that I have a sense of humor. I love the fact that I can balance that. I love the fact that that I strive to learn. Just today, I heard something on TV, and I picked up my phone and I started searching the internet to see how truthful it was, and just to gain more knowledge. So tell me, what you all love about yourself? Being able to compromise. I think that's a wonderful trait to have, cousin. I love being able to compromise, and I love that I'm not bothered by compromise. Sharing my space and adjusting and adapting. That's what I said. When you love yourself holistically, you're okay with giving the best version of yourself now to other people because I stand in the confidence of who I am. So I don't mind compromising with you because it doesn't compromise who I am. I can compromise with you because it does not compromise who I am. I'm fully complete and I'm fully confident in who I am. You all talk to me. What do you love about yourself? I love the fact that I have followed through. That if I'm saying I'm going to do something, that I'll follow through with it. I love that. I love the fact that I am committed to what I say I'm going to do. So when I set my goals, I'm committed to seeing them. I love the fact that I'm disciplined. I love the fact that I am not driven by fear. I, I love the fact that there's a sensitive space in my heart for people. I love all of that. Compassionate, encouraging, speaking out, keeping promises. Those are wonderful traits. So if you all didn't get a chance to do it on this broadcast, but if you get a chance to do the replay, or if you're one who goes on and you come on and you watch the replay, do me a favor, just put it in the chat, put it in the comments, the things that you love about yourself, so that when people see this, they can say, "Oh, thank you for pointing that out. That is a good trait. I love that about me as well. I have a heart. I have the heart to care for people." That's not only a good trait, that's a gift. Being compassionate. I like the fact that I'm a pretty decent judge of character. I do. I like the fact that I love the fact that I am emotionally alert and intelligent. I love the fact that I can be hard on myself and still be kind to others at the same time. So if you didn't get a chance again, if you didn't get a chance to put your what you love about yourself in the comments this go round, then catch the replay. And let's just share it so that we can encourage people to like themselves and to love themselves and to practice self care and to practice self love. It's important, it's most important. We are in the throes of a time where if we don't take the time to exhale and appreciate ourselves, nobody is going to do that for us. I like the fact that I show people kindness, I'm giving, and I take time to listen to others. These are wonderful traits to have. Let's keep sharing these, even after we call it a night in this space. If you get a chance, tell somebody, come on and let's talk to Cutler and remind them, you all, let's talk about what we like about each other, because what we like about ourselves, what we love about ourselves, because sometimes we're just so busy tearing down what we dislike about other people until we forget to take a look at one, what we don't like about ourselves and try to improve it. But then also we don't take we don't take the time to love ourselves, value ourselves, and appreciate ourselves. I love that I possess the gift of forgiveness. These are wonderful things. So I'm not going to take up much of your time, but I think it's important for us to practice a moment in learning to love ourselves. It's critical. So keep loving yourself, you all. Keep loving yourself despite and in spite of what life presents. And yeah, life is going to present what it presents, but keep loving yourself. Keep caring for yourself. So let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community here. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Keep your heads up. Keep your hopes up. Keep loving yourself. Keep loving yourself. Keep walking in the confidence of who you are. Walk in this is my closing line. Stand and walk in the confidence of who you are, and know that you are enough for every situation that presents itself to you. You are more than enough, fully prepared to execute whatever task the moment calls for. Face it and be the very best version of yourself that you can be. Know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. And until the next time we talk, tell somebody else. Come on and let's talk to Cutler. I'll see you the next time I see you. Love you all. And let's keep doing what we do. Keep loving yourself. Good night, everybody.